Hello family, this is Deborah with Black Education TV. Now normally I just do my videos, I talk, I don't get in the camera much. You see me on my husband's channel, Watchmen Reports, but for the most part on my channel I don't typically get in the camera too much anymore, not as much as I used to. But I decided I'm going to take the time to come on out here to the trailer. It's nice and quiet out here. The animals have calmed down. They're not the ducks are not quacking around and the chickens are quiet, so I decided I'm going to come out here and do this particular video because it is back to school time. Right now the children are having lunch, so I said I'm going to sneak away and do this while everything is quiet. So basically we have a lot of things that are lined up this year. A lot of good projects that I think is going to be great for everyone, not just our children but parents as well. I think this type of interaction is going to be a blessing for all of us. Many of us are really starting to see the importance of educating our own. As a matter of fact, the scripture actually mandates it. It says, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. What I want to show you all, some of you have already purchased some of these, but we have some educational materials. Some things, a lot of things, as a matter of fact, we offer online completely free. You can go to our website, 12tribesacademy.com, and you will see a lot of our free materials there. I will be adding some more. As a matter of fact, we did add some of our workbooks. Typically, we have like assignment packets or individual worksheets or assignments there. But the workbooks, we sell those in workbook form. But some of those we have added. As a matter of fact, some of these we may add as well for those of you who may not want to pay for them. We will have the downloadable version of the ones that I'm talking to you about today. But it would be helpful if you would buy the hard copy. That would be truly a blessing because we did put a whole lot of time. This is years of work. As a matter of fact, we haven't even put everything that we've done in print form yet because it takes time to format them properly and to get everything in place. That takes a lot of time. So I want to show you what we have here. I want to start first with this one. This one is the first edition of our vocabulary building. Okay, it's a study guide and a workbook. Okay, in this particular workbook, there are 18 weeks of lessons. Okay, 18 weeks of lessons. And the way this works is really neat. It can go for any grade. Okay, there are 128 pages in here. And the reason why this can go for any grade is because this, again, is vocabulary building. So if you're working with a first grader, you're no doubt going to use a first grade spelling list. If you're working with an 8th grader, you're going to use an 8th grade spelling list. Now, so the way this works, and I'm going to try to go through these as quickly as possible. I'm going to really highlight the most, not that any is more important than the other, but there's a mosquito here, family, so if I have to swing at it to keep them from stinging me, please understand. Okay, it's not that any one book is more important than the other, but vocabulary is one of those things, and math, which I'm going to try to touch on all of these. These are very important. Vocabulary building is important because many times you have people who try to talk over your head. Especially when you're a so-called black person, they try to talk over your head. So building your vocabulary at a young age is very important, and you can make it fun. So I want to show you what we have here for lesson 1. There are many parts to each lesson. First, you have the Mastered Words Vocabulary Tracker, where you will give the children a specific vocabulary list based on their grade or their experience. We don't always go according to grade because if a child is progressing more in the first grade and they're able to tackle something on a 3rd grade level, you don't have to bore them with the first grade list, you see. Or if a child needs a little more time on something, you don't have to give them something that's beyond what they are able to achieve. So you get an assigned vocabulary list here, and you have the child write it there. That's the first step to this lesson, okay? And the log here, you as the parent or the teacher or instructor can determine whether or not the child needs to work on a particular word, if they've mastered the word, or how they're progressing with the word. So this is kind of like the word list and the progress report on this particular page here. Now, the second part of this lesson, in which all of the lessons are the same, you just work with a different word list for each lesson. Okay, now this part of the lesson deals with the definitions. So the child may have the word, right? But the next part of the lesson is to actually know how to define the word. So they're actually going to take each of their word list and they're going to write the definition and learn the definition. Okay? Now, as a testing mechanism, after they have learned the definition, now they have to do sentence writing. Each word from that spelling list, they have to use it in a sentence properly. Okay? Now, the next part is the spelling quiz, in which you're going to sit there in front of the child and you're going to give them a spelling test right here based on the list that you've given them for lesson 1. Okay? Like I said, each lesson is in many different parts. Okay. The second part is the definitions test. Without being able to look at their other pages, you're going to sit there right in front of them, and they have to define each word as you call off the word. Okay. For instance, if the word is opinion, they have to write it down, spelling it properly, then giving you the definition for opinion. So that is the testing portion of that. Okay, so that is basically what each lesson involves. It involves not only knowing how to spell the word, but how to properly use it in a sentence and how to properly define the word. Okay, so that is what this is. And once they've achieved a maximum level of understanding on each word, you go here and you determine whether or not they need work, or they're doing good, they can do better, or if they've mastered the word. And so this is like a little report card. Each section gives you that. And like I said, there are 18 lessons. So this is 18 weeks worth of assignments just in vocabulary and spelling and sentence writing. So you're getting a number of different things here. This particular book gives you it gives you writing, spelling, and comprehension. So that's a number of different lessons all in one, right here, right there. So that is an awesome workbook to have. I have my children work out of that one a lot. Now here is this one. This one is Math Challenge. Math Challenge is basically one of those things that it involves. I'm going to just put it to you right here. We have inside of this particular workbook, you're going to be dealing with place values, number forms, rounding numbers, averages, math story problems, kitty algebra, and brain teasers, and more. Okay, now this is for a number of different grade ranges because, again, you give it to them based on their skill level. Okay, what I like about math story problems is, I'm going to just show you what we have here. Math story problems are great because not only does the child have to figure out the problem or the question that's being asked, they have to comprehend. Okay, they have to read and they have to understand and comprehend what is being asked of them. Okay, so even in this one, they get to experience with writing as well. And let me show you how. Because on the first page here, you as the teacher are going to give them an example of the type of math story problem you want them to compose. Okay, and let me just give you an example. A very simplistic one for a younger grade age or grade. Okay, there are some examples right here in the front that I've shown so that you can get an idea of what we're talking about. And this can be for any grade level, you see, because based on their age or their grade or their experience level, that will determine the types of problems you give them. Okay, I'm going to just read the example so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. And for each story problem that they write, they also have to be able to provide the answer for each. So not only are they writing the question, but they have to provide the answer. Okay, if I have 10 apples and give 5 of them away, how many apples will I have left? Now, that's for a younger grade. That's very simple. If I have 10 apples and I give 5 of them away, how many will I have left? So they have to be able to write that to where it's understandable, and then they have to be able to answer it as well. Okay, so they're getting writing, reading, comprehension, and they're also getting math, you see. And it could be varying different types of math. It doesn't have to be, and it's based on what you give them. It could be multiplication, division, subtraction, addition, whatever you decide to give them, fractions. So let me read some of the others. If I start at number 1 and move 50 spaces forward on the board and then take 10 steps back, what will be my position on the board? Okay. If I take 10 steps, if I start at number 1 and move 50 spaces forward on the board and then take 10 steps back, what will be my position on the board? Okay. The next one. If a bag of apples contains 32 apples and 1/8 of them are rotten, how many good apples will you have in your bag? Okay. If a man works 40 hours per week at $17.39 an hour, what amount will he be paid at the end of 6 weeks? Okay. See, as you understand, they're getting more and more difficult. This is because you're going to give them these math story problems based on their age or experience level. Okay. When the sun shines in the spring, it is daylight 50% of the day. In the summer, it is 70% of the day. How many hours is the sun shining in the spring and summer? So basically, you're going to have to determine the hours based on the percentages given. And so again, this is experience level. This is not something you would give a kindergartner or a first grader, but a child who's probably in the 4th or 5th grade. 3rd grade if they're really good. Okay. Now, there are many examples you can follow when giving your students example math story problems. Be sure to use examples based on not just their grade level, but their skill level as well. This is a great way to build writing and comprehension skills while incorporating math. So we love to do math story problems. Okay, so no, that's not the only thing that is within this book. Okay, we also have Kitty Algebra, in which that is very, very fun. Using number coding to determine what an answer is. Okay, there are examples in the book of how it's done. Okay, many examples in the book. It gives you an example of how to arrive at your answer and where to put your answer. We also have in this book. Now, this part is very fun for young people. These are brain teasers. Brain teaser number word searches. Number word searches are not as easy as you believe them to be because you're looking at a number of different numbers, just all there on the page. And as you see, these are long numbers. So you have to look within those numbers. It's different when you're looking for words. A word search is easy. Sometimes the word just pops out at you. But with the numbers, it's not that easy. It doesn't just pop out at you. So you have to be very, very careful in looking for these numbers. And sometimes it can get frustrating, you see. But that's a great brain teaser. Now we have our place values. Very simple work to do, but we've made these really nice worksheets to go by. And there's different elements of the place values that we're working with. Being able to determine the place value, what number is in what place. That's one part of it. And then we have the part where you actually have to write in the number that is within the particular place value. Okay. And then, so that's the answering of the questions portion of it. But then the other portion is where you have to write your own number right there and then determine what is in the tens place, 100 billions place, hundreds place, and so on, based on the number that you have written in this area here. So, now this right here is writing numbers in word form, okay? Writing numbers in word form. Like your student will have to be able to write 487 in word form, you see. It shows you what standard form is and what word form is. Standard form is the number itself. Word form is spelling out the words for 487, and so on and so on. Okay, now this one is rounding numbers. Rounding numbers to the nearest whatever. The nearest hundreds, the nearest thousands, the nearest 10,000s, the nearest 100,000s, and so on and so on. The nearest million. So your student will have to be able to round the numbers based on which direction they are asked to go. This is why we call this particular workbook Math Challenge, because there are different types of math in here, and it's meant to grow with the student. With guidance from parents, they should be able to get through this really, really well, and it's also very fun. Math is fun when you make it fun. Okay. Now we also have some more simplistic lessons for younger children. This is spelling word mastery. Now it's a little different than our vocabulary building, okay? It's a little different than this one. This one can go for all grades, okay? Because you're dealing with a specific word list that is provided by the teacher. Now these lessons right here, they come in several parts as well. And just to give you an example, there is an assigned spelling list already there, okay, with the definition already next to it. And so then the student, as they learn the words and the definitions, then they go on to fill in the blanks here. For instance, to peer slyly through a crevice. To peer slyly through a crevice is to peep, okay, to peep. And that same word list, they will have to come in and fill in the blanks as well. Okay. He dug a blank hole. He dug a deep hole. So this is something, once the children learn the words, they will be able to complete these assignments. This right here, they have to do the definition, okay, of the word that's already assigned here in the book. And then they close out the lesson by doing the definitions test. Okay, and then there is the true and false. The true and false is very simple. A beep is a bird's mouth. A beep, B-E-E-P. The answer to that, of course, would be false. But the student has to know that. And notice we said a beep, very close to beak. And so they have to be on their toes thinking to know that that is not the correct definition. So that is true and false right there. Okay. Now, the last part of each lesson is going to be a spelling word search, in which that's the fun part. Now, after you've done all of the hard stuff, you get a nice, fun word search. So you get a chance to search for all of your spelling words within the word search there. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, now this one is another spelling and vocabulary workbook. Now, this one is for junior high or high school. You're dealing with more heavy-duty words. Now, these are not like the vocabulary builder where the teacher gives an assigned list. These actually have their list already as well, like guileless, without deceit, jurisprudence, a part or division of law, litigant, a party to a lawsuit. So they are learning some very heavy-duty words there. They're getting the definitions, and they're going to have to understand them by using them, again, in sentences, being able to define them on the testing portion. Even with this one, we decided that we're going to break it down in syllables. There's a syllables page right there. So some of these bigger words that may be difficult, you have the actual breakdown of the syllables there. Condescension, curator, catalyst, epitome. You see, so it's all right there. Anatomist, impeccable, misanthropic. You see, all of the words are right there in the book with the breakdowns of the syllables as well, and the testing portion with the definitions and writing them in a sentence and so on and so on. Okay, here's one of my favorites. This one is counting money. This counting money is fun because that's something that we all need to know how to do so no one is cheating us, right? With the counting money, they have to be able to break down money, large amounts of money. Now, we do have simpler versions of this not in the form of workbooks, but on our website, you can get those pages free. Okay, you can just download those, where it gives them the understanding of denominations of money and different things of that nature. But breaking down money, for instance, it starts off simple, like at $155. The child has to use, or the student has to use, every bill that is on the line here at least once and break down. So there's going to be a number of different variations. For instance, if they have to give me $155 and use a $1 bill, $5 bill, $10 bill, 20, and 100, then they have to give me at least $100 bill and at least one of all of these. So they'll have to be able to break this down, giving me a number of these bills, but it cannot go above $155. It has to be $155. Now, if you go to some of the ones that are more difficult, like $900, I'm going to say $899. The student might want to give me, let's say, 8 $100 bills. We're trying to get $899. So they may give me 8 of these. Okay, so that's $800. They may give me 3 of these, 3 $20 bills. That'll be $860. Give me a $10 bill with that, just one. That's going to be $870. So we still have $29 more dollars, correct? So then they'll give me 4 $5 bills and 9 $1 bills, you see. So that can be done in many different ways. They may only want to give me 7 $100 bills, but they have to divide the rest of the money properly with these other denominations to total $899, you see. Then there are other lessons that are a little different. They have to actually add up the amount of money that is specified. Like for here, there are 23 $1 bills, 53 $5 bills, 19 $10 bills, 10 $20 bills, 5 $100 bills. The student has to add all of that up and put the answer over there, you see. So that's a different kind of method of doing things. Now, with this is another way. We have it to where the student has to take this amount of money and minus that amount and give you the total over there. This is $10,625 minus $6,019. So they have to give me the answer in dollars over there. Okay. Now, this is a math brain teaser portion of it. My daughter Hannah specifically loves this particular portion. Okay, let me show you what that's about. Then I'm going to try to wrap this up because I don't know how much time I have left on that battery. But these math brain teasers are awesome. The problems are actually right here, and I'll just read the instructions for you. It says, read the math problem below. Use the correct mathematical operation to solve the problem. A grid graph has been provided for you to show your work. So on this, the student has to show their work so you can determine that they arrived at their answer without using any mechanical devices. In our house, we already know that because we don't even give them calculators. They don't have calculators, so they have to actually sit there and work this out. But anyway, the first one says, if a business collects 470 $1 bills, 62 $5 bills, 14 $10 bills, 96 $20 bills, and 68 $100 bills in 1 hour, what would be the dollar amount of cash collected in 7 hours? So you see, that is a brain teaser. It's easy to just add it all up and say, well, this is what you get. But we added another element to it. After you add up what they've made in 1 hour, the question is, how much have they collected in 7 hours? So that's why we say these are brain teasers. We have some more brain teasers here at the end. These are a little different. It says, write the number in the box below in expanded form using the graph space provided. Your answer may be displayed vertically or horizontally. So basically what you're going to do is take these numbers, 265,749, and you're going to write it in expanded form. That's pretty easy. It's pretty self-explanatory because we have the example right there. But again, these are challenging assignments for students, and they are very fun. Very fun, I might add. Okay, now here's another brain teaser. This one is a little different as well. Like I said, this is all meant to challenge the brain. And it does take time to work up to this for some students, so it's nothing to be afraid of once you show them how to do it, in which the examples actually show very easily how to do it, they can achieve this. It says, write the number below in word form, then use the graph space provided to divide the number in half. Put your answers on the lines provided. Show your division answer in dollars. Show your division answer in dollars. Okay. Alrighty. So, what we've done here, it says 253,853. So they have to be able to write that in word form. And then they have to divide the number in half. Once they get the number in word form, they have to divide it in half. So you write the word form answer here, and then you work out the division problem at the bottom there. Just dividing it in half or dividing it in two. Okay? So that's a two-part lesson as well. Again, it's meant as a brain teaser. And so pretty much that's what the counting money is about. The counting money is very fun. It's something that our children definitely need. The kiddie algebra is very simple, ages 6 to 8. The reason why I say 6 to 8 because beyond 8, they probably don't really need this type of work. It's very easy work. I could just give you an example here, just to show you what the kiddie algebra is like. This prepares them for what algebra really is. At the top here, you have your number ruler, A through Z, and then you have 1 through 26. So A would be 1, B would be 2, C would be 3, and so on. So the student would have to say, give you the answer for what A plus C is based on the number chart up there. A being a value of 1, C being a value of 3, that would mean that A plus C equals 4, you see. And as you go along in the book, it gets more difficult. We bring in subtraction, then multiplication, and this one doesn't get into division, but we stop at the multiplication, but then we come on to this portion, which is very fun as well, where they're going to use the same graph to, it says, use the code system above to help determine the total value of each word. Each letter has been assigned a number value. Use the value to complete your problem. An example has been done for you. And so the word create, you would go up there and see what the value for C is, and then R, then E, A, T, E. And you would add that all together to get your answer. And once you add it all together, see the example word was power. We used all of the numbers assigned for the word power, and you came up with the total of 77, you see. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just trying to show you what the workbooks look like. Now, another aspect of kiddie algebra, you're going to do the same thing with phrases, small phrases, where the student has to use the system above to decode the small phrase or sentence. Give a total for all words used in your phrase or sentence for your final answer. And there was an example given right there for knowledge is power. There's an example there. So it's very easy. It's shown right there what needs to be done. These are meant to cause your students to think. Now in this case we used objects. Okay, so you kind of see how that works. This plus this equals what? Because the values have been determined up here. The value for each item is up here. So when you say this plus this, what is your amount there? You see. So I can go on and on with this, and at the end, I love this part, this hidden word number search. There's another part that I skipped that is very simple, very similar to the other part where you're just using the decoding system to determine your answer. But this part right here is hidden word and number decoding. So that again is a brain teaser, and guess what? Listen, family. A lot of this is fun for adults too. Those of us who want to keep our brains sharp as well, you would use something of this nature. And so what you're going to do here, this is really fun. You're going to decode these words using this chart up here. Once you decode the words, you put it in the blank space underneath there. Once you put the word there, then you can proceed to look for the word in this section down here. But you first have to decode the word up here and then look for it down here. You see? So students love that particular assignment. They love those because you're doing two things. You first have to decode the numbers and then you find the word that you've decoded. Okay. Now, last but not least, this part is really fun. Students love this as well. Well, not last but not least, I'll just put it to you this way. We do have a couple of stories in here where in order to find the answers for your questions, you have to decode the words first. You decode the words. The answers are up here. They have to read this. They have to read these sections, then decode it, and then your answers will come from the decoded word. But the fun part that a lot of students will love as well is the math number search. What you do is you figure out the math problem here, and then you write the answer in the box. And the answer is what you're going to look for up here. Once you find your answer and put the answers in these boxes here, you're going to look for the number up there. Okay, so that's math number search. Now these are worksheets that we developed over time. We were always trying to come up with things to challenge our children, and these are things we've come up with over time. For instance, 3,248 minus 2,102. Once you get the answer to that, you look for it up there. Okay, I'm running out of time. This one right here, real quick, I'm going to go real quick over these two. This one is what every child should know for preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. There are more than 250 pages in this book. I'm not going to go through it all. I'm just going to kind of flip through a little. Just so many different kinds of assignments in this book for your young people. Colors, numbers, shapes, small sentence writing, Hebrew letters. I'm going to show you a little bit about the Hebrew letters. Counting, just telling time, you name it is in here. As a matter of fact, I'll just read the list that's right there on the front to tell you what is in this book. More than 250 pages of alphabets, numbers, colors and shapes, money identification, mathematics, directions, perception test, Hebrew alphabet, phonics, 12 tribes worksheets, Hebrew kinship words, spelling word families, simple punctuation and capitalization, telling time, and more. So there is a lot in this book. It's 250 pages of just great information for what every child should know for preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. This is basically a 3-year book. This can take you right from preschool through first grade very easily. Now, AHA Herbs, really quickly. This workbook is a weight loss journal included, a 30-day meal planner. It's a resource guide and a workbook. A to Z herb list is included. What this does is like a great reference guide. If you have anything going on, there's some information in here about the specific things that certain herbs can help you deal with. Okay, this is for those of you who want to learn. Okay, I ran out of time on the first video, but really quickly, I'm going to do this real quick because I think I don't have enough battery juice left. But this reference guide, real quickly, I'm just going to show you what's in this herb book, just from the table of contents. You have information on various herbs for headaches, weight loss, cancer prevention, blood pressure, whether it's high or low, managing fevers, plants for healthier hair, the 14 top herbs in the Bible, kidney cleansing, detoxifying the body, relieving constipation, treating diarrhea, fatigue, insomnia, cold and flu, inflammation, liver cleanse, lymph nodes, herbs for swollen lymph nodes, helping arthritis and joint pain, plants and herbs that boost lung health, heal respiratory infections, and even repair pulmonary damage. Now, let me say something real quick about the respiratory. One day I was having trouble breathing. I had made a tincture out of plantain that we get out in our yard. Now, at the time, I didn't know that it helped with breathing. I just made it, okay? And so one day I was having trouble breathing, so I went and I got that tincture and I just squirted like several squirts into my mouth. and my breathing was restored almost right away. And I said, wow. But it wasn't until we were doing the research for this particular workbook here that we found out that plantain is one of those natural weeds that grow outside that actually helps with respiratory problems. So in this research, we found out a lot of things. We've helped a lot of things in our very own household. And it has information on teas for treating hypotension, hypertension, hypo and hypertension, inflammation, respiratory illness, and stress. Instructions for brewing teas for those of you who like to brew your own tea. We have herbal worksheets, and like I said, a weight loss journal, 30-day meal planner, and resources and references. But anyway, this is a great book to have as well. With all of these books, we do plan to update them from time to time as time permits, because like I said, it takes a lot of time to put these things together. This is years of work. We have other books that we're working on right now as we speak. It's getting hot in this trailer. I have that light on me, so forgive me, family. I'm going to have to go ahead and cut this video off. I'm not cutting it short because it's pretty long already. But I wanted to share these with you. To order these books, I'm going to put a link down in the description area. It will be awesome if you all want to support us and order these books and give them a try. Many of us, we go out and we buy various workbooks based on things we want our children to know all the time. So we would appreciate it very much if you would consider us when you are making your choices to buy worksheets or workbooks for your children. We have a lot of great stuff here, and we're working on even more. We have some biblical projects that we're working on, dealing with the laws of the Most High Yah, dealing with biblical stories and things of that nature. So many things we're working on. The Hebrew portion of this I didn't really expound on too much, but I wanted to show you we have the Hebrew alphabet, the Paleo Hebrew alphabet in this book towards the end. It shows you how to write them and all of that good stuff there. We have the, real quick here, we have the sons of Israel. We tell you what their name is, who their mother is. They're the second born son. Leah is the mother, so it goes on to all of that. They could just practice writing that information down here. The sons of Jacob, Levi. Third son, his mother is Leah. So we have that. And then we have the Hebrew terms for kinship. Hebrew terms for kinship. Okay, like dad is Abba, mama is Ima, brother is Ak, sister is Akot, son is Ben, and so on and so on. Daughter is Bat, Saba for grandpa, Safta for grandma, and there's many other Hebrew words. And then they can practice writing them on the pages that follow. They have the guide first, the study guide, and then they have the practice writing pages at the end. And they are to use them in a sentence. For instance, my Ak is always taking my toys. Talking about his brother. My brother is always taking my toys. So it says my Ak is always taking my toys. My Akot is my best friend. My Abba loves reading. My Ima is very nice. Now, I'm going to have to change that one because we found out that the etymology for the word nice is stupid. So we're going to have to take that one out and change that to my Ima is very kind or very sweet. My Saba is very funny. So what the children have to do or the students have to do is write their own sentences using these words. My Saba is very funny. So they would say, my Saba is, meaning grandpa, my Saba is very happy, or whatever sentence they can come up with. So this gives them a little writing practice as well. So this is 250 pages of what every child should know for preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. 250 pages of goodness. Okay, family, I think I'm done now. I've said a lot here. I hope you all will support our efforts here. Again, this is years of work put into the form of workbooks, and this is not even all of it. We have so much more, some that I didn't bring out. I forgot about the one on the seventh day he rested, and the ones that we're still working on, some of them that we just started working on. So please support our efforts. It takes a lot of time to do these, and we are more than happy to offer this on our website, some of them free. We already have some of the workbooks that are free, many years of worksheets that are already free. But your support would be greatly appreciated if you would buy the actual workbooks. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. Mwah. Love you, family, and shalom.